E3 Elbow CPM is the latest product innovation in orthopedic elbow rehabilitation from OrthoAgility and is ideal for both home and clinical settings. The E3 offers a full range of elbow motion with anatomic flexion, extension, and pronation supination. Its motion controller allows the operator to adjust the program to the patient. Programmable options include 5 speeds, a reverse on load with 5 force settings, and an end-of-range pause adjustable in seconds from 0 to 61 minutes. Also, an optional warm-up feature starts the program from 50% of the set range and gradually increases to full range over 10 cycles. Wrist and elbow ranges can be set for synchronous operation, both wrist and elbow at the same time. The E3 always requires that a range of motion be set. If the device reaches its set limit, it will pause and then resume driving in the opposite direction. It will never exceed its programmed set range or reverse on-load limits. The E3 Elbow CPM is supplied in a convenient carrying case with the setup and operating instructions, the mounting accessory, the motion controller and controller cord, the power supply and power cord, and the optional wrist inserts. There is also a summary of the setup and operating instructions affixed on the inside of the lid. The mounting post is set up on the outside of the patient's affected arm towards the rear of the base. Lift the latch and then slide the base of the mounting post into the base plate. It is now set up for the left arm. To switch to the right arm, lift the latch and slide the mounting post out of the base plate. Flip the mounting post and slide it back into the base plate. It's now set up for the right arm. It's very important that the mounting accessory is secured. For bed use, place the base plate under the mattress and fasten the straps around the bed frame. For chair use, place the mounting accessory on the chair's seat and fasten the straps around it. Ensure that the trailing ends of the straps are tucked away to prevent tripping hazards. Loosen the post clamp and rotate the mounting block so that it points forward. To configure the E3 for the left arm, press the 3 blue buttons and rotate arm cuffs, elbow actuator, and valgus pivot as shown. The wrist actuator is at the front, and the arm cuffs are at the back with the adjustable arm cuff on top. To switch for the right arm, press the 3 blue buttons and rotate the components 180 degrees. The wrist actuator is allowed to rotate through a small angle at the valgus pivot to accommodate natural motion in the elbow. Insert the mounting peg into the top of the mounting accessory. To remove the device, press the button on the end of the mounting peg and lift. The wrist actuator is allowed to slide along the guide tubes to avoid compressing the elbow joint during motion. A length of elastic TheraBand can be used to apply a slight distraction force to the elbow or to just keep the wrist actuator in place. The TheraBand threads through the wrist actuator and through the buckle like so. Plug the controller cord into the E3 and then into the E3 motion controller. Connect the power cord into the power supply and wall outlet and plug the power supply into the E3. The power supply may also be plugged into an E3 motion controller. To operate, begin by switching the motion controller on. Selecting New Patient, No, will return the controller's last settings. Selecting New Patient, Yes, clears the previous settings and clears the compliance monitor. This brings you to the set screen, and the amber light on the face of the controller comes on. Select which range of motion to set. You may set the range of motion for both elbow and wrist. Choose the limit to adjust and increase or decrease the range of motion by pressing the plus or minus button. Press the other limit button to finish setting the range. The E3 requires that the range of motion be set at a minimum of 6 degrees. Press the exit button twice to get back to the set screen. From here, you will be able to set the other range of motion or the other programming options along the bottom of the controller. To set the speed, force, or pause, press the appropriate button and then use the plus and minus button to adjust the values. The default is speed 1, force 1, and no pause. Press exit after setting each option. When finished, press the set button. If both the wrist and elbow range of motion have been set, you will need to select either synchronous or serial motion. To begin treatment, press the yellow Start-Stop button on the hand controller. The amber light goes off and the E3 is now in run mode. The controller display shows you the operating mode, the current angle, the direction of travel, the pause time, the force, and the speed. It also shows if it is locked or unlocked. To change any of the settings, press the Set button when the device is stopped. This will take you to the set screen and the amber light will come on. Press the yellow Start-Stop button to run the device through a complete test cycle to ensure the operational settings are correct. Make sure that the patient is close to the E3 and sitting or lying comfortably. Support the device with one hand. Loosen the post clamp, raise or lower the E3 to the correct height, and re-lock the post clamp. Support the device with one hand, loosen the angle clamp, adjust the E3 to the correct elevation, and re-lock the angle clamp. Open the straps and place the patient's arm in the arm cuffs, aligning the elbow center of rotation with the E3 center of rotation. Adjust the position of the upper cuff so that the upper strap crosses the biceps. Lock the cuff's position with the side knobs and fasten the straps. The patient's shoulders should be level. Readjust the height or angle if necessary. Place the wrist between the wrist plates so that the wrist clamp knobs are approximately 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters, proximal to the wrist crease. Tighten the knob so that the wrist is secure but not pinched, and fasten the straps. Adjust the TheraBand as necessary. After fitting the patient to the E3 CPM, start the device with the yellow Start-Stop button. Adjust the range of motion or other options if necessary. To access the warm-up feature, switch the controller off and on. Select New Patient No and Warm-Up Mode Yes. To pack the E3, turn it off and on while pressing the speed and force buttons. Select Packaging Position Yes. The E3 will then run to 90 degrees flexion and 0 degrees pronation supination. Press the blue button on the valgus pivot and rotate the guide tubes 90 degrees. Press the blue button at the back of the arm cuffs and rotate them 180 degrees. The E3 is now ready for packing in the case. Please refer to the Direction for Use manual for complete operating instructions and device specifications, or call your local Ortho Agility representative with any questions.